Hi everyone, my name is Maddie, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my December/Christmas book haul. So I have been incredibly lucky this month to have been gifted some books by some of you guys. I've gifted some to myself. I am filming this before Christmas because I need to film part in my flat and part at home, but it will be in this video. But I know I'm being gifted some from my family because I chose them. I've been gifted one by a publisher. I have been so incredibly lucky this month in receiving so many books, so why not show you all of them? Some of the books, especially ones been gifted by some of you guys, I have talked about before in vlogs. I have mentioned some of them, I've unboxed some of them in videos, but I'm going to talk about them again here because I want to just say another huge thank you to anyone who sent me a book. It is insane that some of you found my wish list and sent me things. I can't honestly believe it. But thank you. But we are going to start very briefly with the book gifted to me by a publisher, and that is Love in English by Maria E. Andrew. This was gifted to me by Harper 360. I am really excited for this. This is a YA contemporary book. It's stunning. I love this kind of rainbow-ish cover and rainbow-ish spine. We know we love rainbows on this channel. I think it's about someone sort of learning English. It's based off the author's own experience of learning English, and it says on the back, this is a story about identity, language, and love, which I'm really excited about. And I think parts of this are written in poetry and use clever little idiosyncrasies that the language of English has. And I'm so excited to see language played within that way. I love weird sayings or weird things this language has that make absolutely no sense. So I am really, really excited to read this. I don't know when I'll be reading it, but it is released in February, so probably around then. So thank you to Harper 360 for sending me this. Can't wait to read it and review it. And then in terms of books I have gifted myself, some of you may know I already have these. The Daughter of Smoke and Bone gift set. This is a set of US paperbacks that have recently been released. I'll get them out of the box so I can show you each of them. And I have been eyeing these up for months, and they were released on the 1st of December, so of course I had them pre-ordered. And they are Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, and then Dreams of Gods and Monsters. Oh god, can I hold them all? And I cannot get over how stunning these covers are. They're like neon, which is not a thing I would ever have expected for this series, but I love it. And they're super, super floppy, which is, as we know, one of my favorite things. So I'm so excited to have these to add to my Laini Taylor collection. And I'm probably going to be reading in these editions to read Days of Blood and Starlight and Dreams of Gods and Monsters for the Dose Avalon I'm hosting. So we're very excited. But then getting into the books you guys gifted me, I'm not going to do these in any particular order. I'm just literally going to go through them in the order of the stack I have here. Though I am actually going to start with Witches of Ash and Ruin by, I'm forgetting the author's name, E. Latimer. Because I don't know who sent this to me. I still haven't worked it out. I need to post on social media again. But there was no notes that came with this. So if you're watching this video and you sent this to me, A, thank you so incredibly much. I am so excited to get to this. And B, please identify yourself if you want to, because I would love to know who sent this to me. I am so excited for it. This is like a witchy, bisexual, dark fantasy, I think, which I'm so excited for. It sounds phenomenal. I think it's set in Ireland. It is beautiful and just, oh, I'm so excited to have it. And I really, really hope whoever sent this to me can identify themselves so I can thank you properly. Okay, and now moving into the ones where I do actually know who sent them to me. So as I said, I'm just gonna go in the order this stack is, and that is starting with books from Maya Ocean Reads, and she got me 2 books, which I cannot believe. She got me The Black Tides of Heaven by Neon Yang, which is actually the January FAES and Gaze book club pick, and she got it for me because she knows it's a FAES and Gaze pick, and so she thought she'd get it for me, which is so incredibly sweet. And this, as far as I know, follows a society and a culture where everyone is raised gender neutral until you reach sort of an age of maturity where you decide what gender you want to be recognised as going forwards. And I think it follows a main character who is never really considered being anything other than gender neutral, and so continues to stay in that way. And I think there's a side male-male romance maybe. Either way, it's quite short. It's just over 200 pages, I think. Yeah, 220 pages. Really interesting novella. I'm very, very excited to read this for FAES and Gaze. And as I say in every video, if you want to take part in the FAES and Gaze book club, the links to the Twitter and the Discord are down below if you want to join in, and if you want to watch any of our old live streams, there's also a playlist where you can watch those. But it is a book club dedicated to reading LGBT sci-fi fantasy books, so it's good fun. And then the other book Maya so kindly got me is A Deal with the Elf King by Elise Kova. I am so excited. This is fantasy romance, which we are here for. It's like my new favorite thing and I'm ready to read so much more of it. And honestly, this is one of the most beautiful editions I've ever seen. I do like the cover, like the cover's really cool, but what I can't get over is the inside of this book. Like I've never seen something printed with such like dark, amazing printing. Like let me show you the map from this because it is just stunning. And when I opened this book for the first time, I just spent so long going through all the pages because they're so beautiful. And then like every chapter, let me find a page, every chapter, oh my god, I can't get it. Every chapter has a design and it's just so beautiful. And I don't know much about this. I know it's fantasy romance with elves. What else do I need to know? Honestly. Yeah, a girl's taken by an elf king. So it sounds good. I mean, it's fantasy romance. I'm gonna love it. And I'm so excited to read it. So thank you so much to Maya for both of these. I cannot believe you spoiled me so much. Next on my stack is from the wonderful Spoops at Spoopy Hole. Her name is actually Holly. We just call her Spoops. And she got me Battle Royale, which I'm so excited for. This is like, I want to say it's Hunger Games-esque, but Hunger Games is Battle Royale-esque. This came out way before Hunger Games. It's set in Japan. I think it's actually translated from Japanese, yeah. And oh my god, I'm so excited. The cover is so brutal and I love it. It's chunky, but I'm excited for that. It's also floppy. Like honestly, all the floppy paperbacks were just coming through in these books. And I am so excited to read this. This may actually be being read for something Spoops and I are doing together in the new year. So keep your eyes out for that announcement coming soon. Possibly not for this book right away, but maybe, so we will see. But oh my god, I'm so excited. It's dark, it's dystopian, it's brutal. It's everything we want in a book, and Spoops sent it to me, so it's even more special. And we love Spoops. Everyone knows I love Spoops, and obviously, I didn't say this earlier, everyone I mentioned in this video that I can, if they have like a YouTube channel, will be linked down below, of course. Okay, so next up is another fantasy romance because you guys really just know what I'm here for at the moment, and that is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is from Jenny, so thank you so much to Jenny. I am so excited. This book is so hyped at the moment. It is insane, and I'm so excited. I think there's already the sequel out to this, and maybe the third book's coming out in 2021, but for whatever reason, this has just taken off. And again, I know nothing about it. I think it has vampires, and I'm pretty sure it's fantasy romance, and that's all I need. Again, chunky, very chunky, like 600 pages chunky, but everyone says this may be a little bit trashy, but like in the best way, and if you go in just expecting a really fun fantasy romance with vampires, you will come out happy. And I will go into any book happily if it's a fantasy romance with vampires. Like that has me sold, and Katy from Brandon's Katy Reads has read this, and Becca from Back in the Books has read this, Shanice, I think, may have read it, maybe not. Everyone is reading it and loving it recently, and I want to jump on the bandwagon and read this ASAP because it sounds amazing and like exactly what I want to read right now. Next, we're going to continue with more fantasy romance because we're here, so why not? And this is from Megan at Mega's Book Corner on Instagram, and this is Charlie Travesty by Jessie Elliott and KJ Sutton. I read Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton earlier this year and really enjoyed it. I need to read the sequel and then the third book when it comes out in paperback next year. I am so excited to continue that series, but therefore I'm even more excited to read this. This was a series of novellas, like the titles are here. It's Whisper in the Dark, A Light in the Dusk, A Memory in the Flame, and A Sacrifice in the Smoke. These were like 4 ebook novellas that were released, and I considered reading them on ebook. I don't love ebooks. I can read them and I'm getting better at it, but I always prefer a physical copy. And then the paperback bind-up was released, so of course I added it to my wish list. Didn't expect to get it, so thank you so much to Megan. I am so excited. Okay, so I just very quickly read a synopsis for this, or like skim enough that I didn't spoil myself, but this follows a vampire, Charlie Travesty, and she is going through like her awakening, which way you kind of come of age, and I get the impression it doesn't go the way she wants, or the way her family wants, and she gets kicked out and kind of thrown into the streets of this awful town, and it's like a forbidden romance. It sounds dark, it's fantasy romance, more vampires. Again, we are here for it. I'm now kind of considering seeing if I can do a video of reading vampire fantasy romance, because that sounds kind of fun. But we'll see. That's not what I should be planning right now because I don't have time. But Thank you so much to Megan for sending me this. I am so hyped. I swear fantasy romance is gonna get me through 2021. But then moving away from fantasy romance, next up we have The Never Tilting World by Rin Chapeko, which I am so excited for, and this was sent to me by the wonderful Shanice from Shanice Noel. Check out her channel if you aren't already subscribed. She is amazing. I love her videos so much and I love her so much, and I'm so glad to have met her this year. And I'm so excited for this. This is a sci-fi, I think, / fantasy. I think it's technically fantasy. And it follows this world which has stopped spinning. So half the world is always in light and half the world is always in dark, I think. I think it's kind of set in the sea and it's kind of piratey. I'm very excited. It sounds amazing. And yeah, I will definitely be reading this one this year, probably like springtime or something. I don't know why. I'm trying to make plans so far in advance. That's what I'm always doing. I'm just like, when can I read this? When can I fit this in? Because honestly, if I could read every single one of these like today, I would. But sadly, I don't think I can read like 15 books in a day, unfortunately. Wish I could. That would be fantastic. I'd get through so much more. But yes, nonetheless, I'm incredibly excited for this one. I've heard amazing reviews. It sounds so interesting, and the sequel is already out, which I can't remember the name of the sequel, but it is already out. So I will, if I love this, be able to move straight on to the sequel, which is always good, because otherwise I end up just being in the middle of series forever. Next up from Sarah or Sarah Drost, I'm not completely sure how to pronounce your name. Please correct me if I said it wrong, but I'm gonna go with Sarah, just because it doesn't have an H on the end, but I don't know if it's Sarah, and I'm really nervous. And that is Empress of Sultan Fortune by Guy Vo. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've just listened to so many pronunciation clips, and I think that's right. I will try and see if I can find the author saying it in an interview or something, because I'm not completely convinced, but I think it's that. I think it's Guy Vo. And I'm so excited for this. This is one that Tammy Tries to read this year and loved and has been talking about all year. And I know Kayla from Books and Lala loved it. I know Katy from Brightness Katy Reads loved it. So many people have enjoyed this book and I'm so excited. I don't know too much about it. I know it follows a young royal, and I know like a story is being recounted to this sort of companion called Rabbit, I think. I'm not sure. Either way, the cover art is stunning. The sequel is now out as well, which is exceedingly exciting. I'm so hyped, and this is only like 100 pages, so it should be a really quick read, and yet everyone is giving it 5 stars. So I am so excited to read this one and find out more about it and just get in on the hype. And I think this is going to be one I really love, and I'm pretty sure it's fantasy. It looks like fantasy, but yeah, reading fantasy from different cultures is definitely something I'm looking to do more of, because I've read a lot of sort of US-based or UK-based, especially fantasy, and even if they're not based in those places, because, you know, they're fictional, you can tell where the influence is coming from, and so I'm very excited to start broadening my horizons a bit and reading some things with very different influences and learning more about other cultures through fantasy. Will just be very interesting to learn other myths and legends, as well as obviously a lot of things are inspired or influenced by myths and legends from cultures. And then mixing it up slightly, we have a graphic novel, and this is from Lisa Hill, who is brilliant, and as far as I'm aware also gifted things to other people, which is amazing. And this is Saga Volume 6. I do have Volume 4 and 5, which I'm getting for Christmas, so I haven't been able to read this yet because I need to read Volume 4 and 5 first. But I'm so excited. Anyone that doesn't know Saga, it's a graphic novel series by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staple, and this follows 2 people from warring races where like their races completely hate each other, and they are in love and have actually got married and had a child, and so they are trying to flee because not only do their races hate each other, both of their races then hate their relationship because they're considered traitors and they've betrayed their own. And so they're fleeing, and it's this fantastic, political, intricate sci-fi story, and it is so good, and it is amazing how much they can cram into 170 pages, but I love them, and I'm so excited to continue with the series. And then the final book I'm going to be talking about in this part before I go home and wrap this up in my family home is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, which was exceedingly kindly sent to me by Ro from Ro and Reads. We love Ro, her channel will be linked down below. And I'm so excited. This is the February pick for FAES and Gaze book club. So you guys have set me up for the first 2 months of FAES and Gaze for next year, which is very exciting. This is like an adult sci-fi, I think, and it sounds amazing. I don't actually know too much about it, and I don't want to, but there's this one line that has me super interested, which is, of the 380 realities that have been unlocked, Kara is dead in all but 8. Parallel universes, lots of realities, love it. One of my favorite things in the world. I love like alternate realities and lots of different streams of things like that. And I'm so intrigued to know why she's dead in all but 8 of them. Absolutely fascinated. Cannot wait to read this. Again, female, sci-fi. I think there's a bi main character as well, which just makes it even better. So excited to read this one in February. Okay, and so now we're going to switch back to my bedroom at home, where I'll be filming the rest of this video with the rest of books gifted by you guys, which aren't in my flat, and the ones I got for Christmas. So cut to that now. Okay, hello to the second part of this book haul. I'm back in my family home. We have lots more books to talk about. All these pages out are the ones I'm going to be talking about, but we're going to get straight into it. Sorry I look like a bit of a mess. I was up until like 3 AM yesterday on reading sprints. It was great, kind of tired, filming anyway. Let's get into it. So the first book, continuing right on from where we left off, is Forest of Souls by Royale, and this was also very kindly gifted to me by Ro from Rowan Reads, one of my best friends on BookTube. Love her so much. And yeah, I'm so excited for this. I think this is about like almost a spirit guide kind of thing. So yeah, this follows a soul guide and a spider king who's like using his powers to create peace, but then the trees of the forest start like being creepy. I don't know, it sounds really interesting. It's got a gorgeous cover. We're excited. The next book is King and the Dragonflies by Case and Calendar, and this is from Katy at Katy Brightness Reads, who again, love so much. And I'm so excited for this. This is a middle grade, I think, fabulism book, which I am so hyped for. It's stunning. It's got like illustrations or like designs, I guess, with these little trees on the chapter headings, which I just love. They're so pretty and it's such a gorgeous cover. This is a book I've been interested in anyway, but it's also been winning like prizes and awards recently, which is really exciting because obviously it just really shows how phenomenal a book it is. I read Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar this year. I have one of their other books I want to read, but I'm very, very excited to give this one a go as well. And then the final book I did get from like a BookTube friend, though I do think there may be one more on the way to me from Molly at Mind of Molly. It just hasn't arrived yet. But the final one I've currently got is Traitor Blade by Sebastian de Castell. This was from Nikki at Books and Lemon Squash, who again, I love. I'm in a big Cypher Fantasy BookTube group chat, and we did a Secret Santa this year because obviously there's a lot of us. And obviously Nikki was my Secret Santa and she sent me The Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell, which I am so hyped about. I've never read any Sebastian de Castell. I think this is the first in the Greatcoats trilogy or series, might be more than a trilogy. I can't honestly remember exactly what this is about, but I know Jade from JD Ray Reads loves Sebastian de Castell and loves this series, and it was her speaking about it that made me want it and be really intrigued by it. Okay, I've just read the blurb and I still don't fully know, but I just want to read you this bit. It says, the king is dead, the Greatcoats have been disbanded, and Falcio and fellow magistrates Kest and Brasti have been reduced to working as bodyguards for a nobleman who refuses to pay them. Things could be worse. Their employer could be lying dead on the floor while the three of them are forced to watch as the killer plants evidence framing them for the murder. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened. That sounds so good. I am so intrigued by that. That sounds really interesting. I have the impression this is going to be almost not funny, as in like it's probably going to be quite dark, but has like an almost sarcastic humour to it, even just from the blurb, and I am hyped for it and so intrigued to try some Sebastian de Castell, as I've heard amazing things, especially from Jade. Next we have a few more books which some of you guys sent to me, the first being The Midnight Lie by Marie Rukaski, and this was from, my brain is telling me, this was from Molly, and oh my god, I'm so excited. I love the cover of this. This I think is a sapphic, almost slightly detective-y fantasy sort of thing, in sort of slightly historical setting. I've heard the most amazing things about this. I know quite a few people who specifically love this series. Well, this first book, I think the series is continuing. So I'm super hyped to get this one, and I love the cover so much. It's so beautiful. Next up is Date Me Bryson Keller, which I did get from Lisa, who, oh my god, I'm so excited for this. So thank you so much to Lisa. This is a YA contemporary story, and this follows a guy, Bryson Keller, who is like, you know, the heartthrob, everyone loves him, but he can't be bothered with a relationship. But he does get dared that he has to say yes to the first person who asks him out. And another guy asks him out, and it's an LGBT romance, and everyone says it's super cute and super fun, and I am here for it. And then the final book from a subscriber is Her Royal Highness, which I did get from Amy, so thank you so much to Amy. I am so hyped for this. I read, I think it's called Prince Charming. It was originally called Royals, but Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins last year, maybe? God, was it that long ago? I really enjoyed it, thought it was super cute and super fun, and this, I have heard, is actually sapphic. So it's YA contemporary sapphic, which we love, and it includes a royal. I think it's this person goes off to boarding school and ends up roommates with basically a princess, I think, and a bit of like a rebellion going on. It sounds fun, it sounds cute. We're excited. And then we are on to the books which I got for Christmas from my family, which is really exciting. I've mentioned this before in like lives and stuff. My mum reads a lot and so is very happy to get me books for Christmas, which works out beautifully. And I sort of normally ask for books for Christmas that are either like completion of series I like, so they're expensive hardbacks, or just books that I wouldn't necessarily buy myself, as well as some that I just obviously really want to read soon. But my mum also knows my tastes, so there are also some surprises mixed in, and the one we're going to start with is actually one of the surprises. So the very first book that we're going to talk about from my family is The 13.5 Lives of Captain Bluebear by Walter Moers. And I cannot describe how excited I am to have this book. Little bit of backstory. I read this book when I was, I don't even know how old, I would guess like 13 or 14. I can't work out if it's meant to be a children's book or not because it's like 1,000 pages or 700 pages. But it's like illustrated and interesting, and so I have no idea what age range this is actually aimed at. But I remember reading it when I was like 13, and I remember really liking it and just thinking it was so strange and so interesting. But for whatever reason, the copy we had in our family has gone missing. I don't know if we decided to get rid of it or if it's just got lost at some point, who knows, but we don't have it anymore. And I've been recently kind of thinking I might want to reread it at some point, but obviously it's not really been an option as the copy was missing. But my mum got me a new copy for Christmas and I was so excited when I opened this. I got given this huge package, I had no idea what it was. And then all of a sudden my brain just went, I've been trying to get her to find our copy of Bluebear, haven't I? I bet you this is a new one. And it was, and I'm very excited. And I have no idea when I will get to this because it's huge. But hopefully in 2021, because I really want to reread it and re-experience it. And it will be almost like reading it for the first time because I remember nothing. I haven't given you a synopsis for this, and that's because I don't really know how. It follows this guy, Captain Bluebear, who has had 13.5 lives, and it tells you about his 13.5 lives and all the adventures he goes on, I think. Next up is very much what I asked for, and that is The Electric Air by Victoria Lee. This is the sequel to The Fever King, which I'm actually reading in January. I'm so excited. It's a YA dystopian series following a world where there's this disease ravaging the place, and if you get it, most people die, but if you survive, you can end up with superpowers. Our main character has that happen and kind of gets taken to an institution to learn to use them, along with some other teenagers with superpowers, and there's a million morally grey characters. Can't trust anyone, very interesting. Super excited to reread the first book and then finally read the sequel because it's just a duology and kind of get all the answers, if there are any. And then next up is another sequel, and that is Restless Slumber by KJ Sutton. I read Fortuna Sworn earlier this year and really enjoyed it, and I'm very, very intrigued to continue with the series. This book is a bit longer than the first one, it's 400 odd pages, and the third one is already out on ebook but comes out in paperback in like February, I think, so I'm hoping to maybe try and read this one before then so I can kind of be up to date on the series. Everyone says they get absolutely destroyed by this book. I'm not sure I'm ready, but I'm kind of excited. And this is a fantasy romance series, and it follows a girl, Fortuna, who is a fantasy creature of some description, and she's the last of her kind. And she ends up striking a deal with a Fae king, high Fae, can't remember the terminology, and basically marrying him in order to find her brother. And it's very, very dark. And I get the impression this one's even darker. Next up is The Dark Tide by Alicia oh my god. Next up is The Dark Tide by Alicia Jasinska, I think I'm saying that right. And this is a sapphic fantasy, I don't know much about it, but again, everyone is loving it. It's not too long, I think it's a standalone, it's like 300 pages, sapphic fantasy, absolutely here for it. So obsessed with the cover. I love gold, I love moon phases, it looks beautiful, I am excited. Know nothing about it, don't want to, but I can't wait to read it. The next two books I am going to talk about together because they very much go together, and that is Red Skies Falling and Gold Wings Rising by Alex London. Books 2 and 3 in the Skybound saga, which is starting with Black Wings Beating. And this is one of the series that is like, ooh. And this is very much one of the series I want to read in 2021 if I can, so I wanted to get the second two books so I could continue. I did have an arc of the second one which I got by trading with someone on Twitter, but I had a hardback of the first one and I wanted a matching set, so I did get hardbacks of the second two, and I am super excited to continue with this series because I think I'm going to absolutely love it. And this is a story following a brother and sister in a world where like an affinity with birds is very important and can get you a lot of status, and they end up having to pay off a debt by going to get this very like scary mythical bird, I think. I can't remember, I need to reread the first one. But I'm super excited, and I love the covers for these series. It's so beautiful, and I cannot wait to carry on with it. Next up, another pair that go together, and that is Saga Volume 4 and 5. I was gifted Volume 6 by a subscriber because it's my own fault. These were already off my wish list because I knew I was getting them for Christmas, and so I've got Volume 6. I have now read Volume 4, will hopefully read 5 soon, and then can read the one that was gifted to me by a subscriber that was mentioned earlier in this video. This is Saga. I think I've already given you the synopsis for this in this video because I've spoken about Volume 6, so it's that graphic novel series. I love it. I want to continue with it. You already know what it is. And then yet another two that go together, and that is The Infinite Noise and A Neon Darkness by Lauren Shippen. And we're going to very quickly do some close-ups of these covers because they are absolutely stunning. I am obsessed with them. So for anyone who doesn't know, there is a podcast I love and listen to which is called The Bright Sessions. I'm actually behind on it at the moment, but I love it. It's a sort of drama podcast. It's phenomenal. All about people who are called atypicals. They have kind of mild superpowers of all different classes, and it follows a psychiatrist or psychologist, I can't remember which, called Dr. Bright, and basically you're hearing her sessions with these atypicals and kind of therapy, and it's really interesting. Such a good podcast, and there have been kind of novelizations of it. So the first one follows one of the main characters, Caleb, and him and Adam, and it's like a male-male relationship, and it's super cute, but it's really interesting. This was very, very close to the story in the podcast, I found. You could easily read it without having listened to the podcast, but it was like a very close retelling with extra detail, so it was super good fun, and I have already read it, but I wanted to get matching hardbacks of the series. And then there's Neon Darkness, which follows Robert Gorham, who is kind of the villain of the series at this point, and I think it's almost like a backstory of him. And I'm super, super excited for this because I think this is going to give quite a lot more detail past the podcast, and it's also super short. It's like 240 pages, so a good easy read. But yeah, these are very much companion novels, but they go together and something's falling over behind me. Okay, so on to the final book I'm going to talk about. I'm not sure this is actually going to fit in frame, but this is Greek Myths by Jean Menzies and Katy Ponder. I feel like I'm saying Jean's name wrong, but that is Jean from Jean's Bookish Thoughts on BookTube. This is, I think, actually a children's introductory book to Greek myths, and it has these gorgeous illustrations throughout it, and Jean wrote the content in it and has been winning awards for it. And one of my projects over the next few years that I've been really wanting to do is to learn a lot more about Greek myth, and then read some of the original myths, obviously in English translations, and read retellings of them like Circe and all of these, because I loved Greek myth. I grew up on Percy Jackson, and I did Latin at school, so we learned a lot about Roman and Greek myth and all of this, so I love it. But it's been so many years that I just don't remember any of it, so I really want to get back into it and learn, and so a children's introductory book is actually kind of the perfect place to start because it will explain everything in a really simple way and a gorgeous way, and I can learn how like a lot of the gods connect to each other and the myths they were involved with. Very excited to read this. It's going to be really interesting, and it's also just absolutely stunning. And we love supporting other booktubers, so very excited to have this. This was another surprise from my mum, and she was spot on. So those are all the books I got for Christmas, but before wrapping up this video, I do actually have one more thing to talk about, and that is a very well-timed parcel. Not technically a Christmas present, but close enough. The December Illumicrate box. So as I've mentioned before, I am an Illumicrate rep. If you use my code BookBrowsing5, you can get 5% off a 3 and 6 month subscription. So I was sent this box free of charge, but I'm going to unbox it quickly for you and talk about everything in here. And then I promise that'll be the end of this probably very long video. So Illumicrate have crammed a crazy amount into this box. I don't know quite how they've done it, but it's very impressive. Obviously start with the spoiler card, which, you know, tells you the artists for everything as well as the theme for next month, which is exciting. I'm super excited for January's box because I can figure out what the book is and I'm hyped. But we're talking about the December box for now. Okay, so the first item is the monthly pin club pin by Stacey McKebbie Gaunt, which I'm super excited for. I love their designs. And it is this sort of tarot inspired pin, which I love. I love anything sort of like witchy, super pretty, love the design of this, very excited. And then next up, probably the item I'm most excited about, as always, is the Rosy Thorns mug. I feel like there's been so many of these mugs recently, and I know it's just coincidental timing for the boxes I've been getting, so like special edition boxes, but I feel like I've gone from having none of these to so many so quickly, and it's super exciting. And this one is actually City of Brass themed. It says there, what is lost? You can tell from the box it's going to be gorgeous, and of course it is. I will show it to you. So this is the design. Super, super pretty. And I am so in love with it. It's so gorgeous. I always love Rosy Thorns artwork. I have read City of Brass, I haven't read the sequels yet, and so I think I know who these characters are, but I'm not going to risk trying to name them because I don't trust myself. I know the girl in the middle is Nari. I'm blanking on the two guys' names, which is awful considering I read the book literally a couple months ago. But yes, this is City of Brass inspired and I love it and it's so beautiful. And I'm even more excited to read the rest of the books so that I can remember whoever it is and enjoy this properly. Next up is this really cute sort of desk planner notepad thing, which is Poppy War inspired. It has poppies around the edge and it has a quote at the top which says, "Destiny is a myth, destiny is the only myth, the gods choose nothing, you chose." And I love this layout actually. I love that it has TBR on it. Just absolutely down for that if you're trying to plan out your week. I love that it has enough space for every single day. Stupid tiny thing that makes me happy. It says the same amount of space for Saturday and Sunday. I hate planners that split Saturday and Sunday in one box because I do more on the weekend than during the week. I need all the space for Saturday and Sunday, not less space. But anyway, that's just a personal gripe. But I love the layout of this and I'm always using notepads and desk planners. I have about 30 and I use all of them. So very happy to add more into circulation. Next up, I have just taken it out of plastic wrapping so you can actually see it, and it is this, which is History Hurt, but we could make some, which is Casey McQuiston quote from Red, White and Royal Blue, one of my favourite books. And this is really cute. This is a like print folder, basically a photo album kind of thing, but specifically big enough that you can fit prints in it, because a lot of us, we collect lots of art prints and have no, I'm dropping the box, and have nowhere to put them. And we can put some on our walls and we can display some in places, but there's a lot and I personally just have like folders full of them, so something like this you can actually flick through them. It's super exciting. Plus rainbow book spines with a quote from a book I love. I'm obsessed with this. I think it's so unbelievably beautiful and I'm super excited to have it. And then the final two really small items before we get to the book is firstly these fridge magnets, which I think are Jade City inspired. It says it's the Cool Family, which I'm pretty sure is from Jade City. I haven't read this book yet. I want to. I personally don't have particular use for like fridge magnets. They say you can put them on your TBR cart, which is completely fair and a very good place to put them. I just don't really decorate my TBR cart. I just leave it as it is. But a nice little small item. And then finally, a surprisingly useful item is actually this little nail file, which is, it says here, you can see yip yip with a little upper on it from, what's it called? Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have only actually watched like half the season of Avatar, but really enjoyed it and need to finish it. But nail file, surprisingly useful little item, and I do kind of adore the little upper. That's really cute, and the yip yip's also really cute. And then finally getting into the books, there were two books in the December box, the first of which is The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. It does have gorgeous black edges. I'm such a fan of black edges. I always think it looks so sleek on a book. And this is a YA thriller, mystery sort of thing, I think. Karen M. McManus is the author of One of Us is Lying and Two Can Keep a Secret, as well as One of Us is Next, which are all very popular YA thrillers. I personally do not have a particular interest in them. I've considered reading One of Us is Lying a lot of times, but it just doesn't sound particularly interesting to me. Personally, when I'm reading thrillers, they either need to be like really psychological, or my favourite thing is when they're technology based, so almost slightly dystopian. So this is new technology that makes everything kind of bad and can cause a thriller. That's much more my vibe than just like a family drama thriller. So it's not personally my kind of book, but I know a lot of people are a massive fan of Karen M. McManus and would probably love getting this. And then the sort of main theme of the box book is The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. I have not read from Cass Morgan. I know she wrote The 100, which I've seen most of the TV show, but I haven't read. This has gorgeous pink edges, by the way. And this is like a witchy sorority dark academia thriller book, I think, which that I'm kind of here for, and I'm pretty sure it's female as well. So just to read the synopsis from the spoiler card, it says Kappa Rho Nu isn't your average sorority. Their parties are notorious, their fundraisers known for being Wesley College's most elaborate affairs, but beneath the veil of Greek life and prestige, the sisters of Kappa Rho Nu share a secret. They're a coven of witches. For Vivi Devereaux, being one of the Kappa Rho Nu's ravens means getting a chance to redefine herself. Scarlet Winters, a bona fide raven and a daughter of a legacy raven, pledged this year means living up to her mother's impossible expectations of becoming Kappa Rho Nu's next president. Scarlet knows she'd be the perfect candidate, that is, if she didn't have one human-sized skeleton in her closet. When Vivi and Scarlet are paired as big and little for an initiation, they find themselves sinking into the sinister world of blood oaths and betrayal. Which sounds super interesting. It's not a book I probably would have picked up on my own, but it's definitely one I'm intrigued to give a go, though I'm likely to kind of wait and see people reviewing it that I trust their taste to see if it's going to be my kind of book before reading it. But I'm definitely intrigued to give it a go because I can kind of vibe with dark academia, sorority and witches. That sounds kind of fun. But anyway, that is finally the end of this video. That is kind of everything I've got for Christmas. I did obviously get some non-bookish things for Christmas, but I'm not going to show them here because this video is too long already. And it's mainly just washi tape and stickers, and I'm kind of considering doing a bit of like a journaling supplies haul at some point in the future anyway, because I get a lot of very pretty stuff. So maybe keep an eye out for that. Let me know if that was something you're interested in. But that's it for the video, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give a thumbs up, comment down below what you got for Christmas. Did you get any books? If so, did they get books that you wanted, or were they surprises? Subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. Links to all the other social media that I'm on, as well as links to the read-alongs and book clubs that I host are down in the description below as always if you want to check them out and join in on anything. But that's it for this video, so bye, and I'll see you in the next one.